Well, boys, I decided to betray the sanctity of the Warframe community by giving Destiny a shot. Now, why oh why would I give the game with a rat dev team and a rat community a try? Well, you see, it was on sale. And when you're as rich and handsome as me, you can throw money around like that. And so that's why I decided to take a break from gooning and actually make some content. So that's why I've been streaming Destiny 2 live on Twitch. Come check it out. I'm live like almost every day at 12 p.m. EST. And I know this video is called the New Player Experience, but I cannot lie, I have dabbled a little bit before. On the launch of Destiny 2, I decided to put all my blood, sweat, and tears into the game until the first raid came out, and then I stopped playing. And so it's been about 7 years, and the game is completely different than it was back then, and when I first opened up this game, I had no idea what I was doing at all. However, the first thing I did notice is that this game feels just as good as it did to play back then as it does now. You can make fun of Destiny all you want and hate on it all you want, but there is no denying that this game feels incredible to play. I mean, first off, visually the game looks amazing still. Like, I feel like a lot of games either go for stylized graphics or graphical fidelity to make it look as realistic as possible, and I think Destiny does like a bit of both, but more so stylized, which just means the game is going to visually last longer than a game that goes for just perfect graphical fidelity. And on top of this, the abilities are so flashy, but in the best way possible, because there's sometimes where I don't even need to use my grenades, but I will just sit there and use grenades because I like the way they look. There's just nothing that speaks to me more than being able to throw a black hole out of your pocket and then particles going everywhere and beautiful. And coupled with that, you can make it to where if you use a certain damage type, the enemies explode and then kill other enemies, and then those enemies explode, and it's just a particled fiesta, and oh my god, it's so beautiful. And just the overall aesthetic of the game is really good. Like I've been playing through the final shape, and there are just some areas that are kind of like horror-esque, and these faces that are in walls, and they're like kind of faces but kind of not. For this expansion, they were definitely going for like a nightmarish theme, and they nailed it. But another thing that makes this game feel really good to play is the gunplay. I can't think of any other FPS MMO that really nailed it like Destiny did, and yes, I called it an MMO, and we'll get to that later, but just shooting guns and hitting heads and just the combat in general, it feels so satisfying to do. Nothing is overly bullet spongy, and if it is, you can use your heavy weapon to just essentially shred it anyways, which I absolutely love, because I just hate when games make enemies more tanky just to give like an artificial difficulty to it. And speaking of difficulty, I don't know what it is, but when I originally played this game, it was just a cakewalk. There was nothing that was really too hard, but now it's like I'm struggling, and this could be because I'm just bad, but some of the missions in the final shape so far have taken me many tries to do, but at the same time it doesn't feel unnecessary or just artificial. Like I'm just actually either bad or it's kind of difficult. So if that wasn't enough glazing, the movement is also pretty good. Now this is probably the weakest positive I've given yet, but it still feels better than a lot of games. Now it's no Warframe, because Warframe has like the best movement I've ever seen, but it just doesn't feel clunky, and it doesn't feel slow, which is where I feel a lot of MMO or looter shooter games kind of struggle nowadays. And speaking of that, the reason that I say this game feels more MMO-like and less looter shooter-like is because I feel like the only thing it shares with the looter shooter genre is kind of the instance-based areas that you have to like go to, where you don't really see that many people and it's very small. But I think with the way Destiny is, like going on different planets and going to like the tower, it only makes sense for it to be like this. It can't really be open world unless they did way too much. But everything else besides this is extremely MMO-like. Well, I guess except for them taking out the leveling system, which is kind of weird, and then also starting you at almost light level cap, which is also kind of weird. For some reason now in Destiny, when you start a new character, they start you out at 1900 light level, which is 100 below the maximum, which is 2000, which you can also get slightly above, which is also kind of weird. But I don't know, to me it makes more sense to start someone at 0 and then maybe 100 is like the hard max, but you can go a little bit above it, I guess. But I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But back to what I was saying, this game is a lot more MMO-like to me, because you have clans, you got the power-based PvP, you have the group-based content, and then you have the raids and a raid finder. But again, it doesn't really matter what genre the game is. This is just how I think of it in my head. And my next thing is the story. And I have very mixed feelings about this because the only way to possibly get the full story now is to watch YouTube videos. Even if you buy Destiny 1 and you buy all the expansions and you play through all of it and then you play through all of Destiny 2 and buy all the stuff on there, you don't get the full story anymore. Because for some reason they have removed pretty much all of the starting content that was in Destiny 2 and it's no longer available. And now there is like a weird little timeline storyboard inside the destinations tab, which is pretty cool, I guess, but it doesn't give you all that you need to know. Like after reading all of it and watching a couple YouTube videos on the story, I kind of know what like a general idea of what's going on, but I don't know the full story and I don't know the character names, so I'm just confused when they start throwing names in there. But with that being said, the story of the game and the lore that can be found is really fucking cool. So it just makes me sad that I know that there's no real way, unless I watch like 13 videos on repeat, that I'll be able to understand the lore fully. All I know is there's like this big ball that made the light, and there's like this civilization of people that wanted to make it also dark at the same time, and the dude was like, oh hell no, and then he left, and then they formed into one being, and it's just like nah, and they started chasing him, and he eventually found the Destiny solar system, and now he's staying instead of running, and also the person who combined into one being is now attacking him, and also the sassy robot died, and all of my friends who still played the game were in the streets sobbing, holding a candlelight vigil for this guy, but it turns out he's actually not dead, but he's like in the Traveler, but he actually is dead, and it might be just a memory. But it also turns out the guy that killed him wished him alive. I don't fucking know. But at least I have a general sense and idea of what's going on, unlike Warframe. Anywho, to stop rambling, I think the Destiny story is really cool, but you also can't access a lot of it. So is it still good? I don't know. I think for most people just coming into the game now and have no prior knowledge, I think it's probably going to come off kind of mid. But it's because they removed a lot of content, but also that's their fault, so I don't know. Now, with all of that being said, why do people hate this game? I mean, it has two gay dudes with interdimensional love. Like, how can you not love it? And I could be wrong, but I think it has to do with two things. The first being they removed a bunch of content that was behind a paywall as an expansion that people just don't get to play anymore, which understandably made a lot of people upset, because I guarantee if World of Warcraft was like, yeah, we need to free up some space, so we're gonna get rid of Northrend and the entire Wrath of the Lich King expansion, people would go apeshit. And again, understandably so. And I feel like the other reason people hate this game is sketchy microtransactional things. I watched a video about a year ago saying that this game was completely pay to win now, and I don't really know what they're talking about. Maybe I don't see it yet. I don't even know if it's true, but that's definitely the perception people who don't play the game have now, regardless. But even if that's not true, it's still a chore to figure out how to even buy the game. Now, if you're a true intellectual like I am, you would find a Reddit post that a guy made who has a doctorate in analytical data to explain to you what you need to buy. But if you're more of a normal human being and you just see Destiny, you think it's cool, you want to give it a try, oh, it's free. After you do all the free stuff, it doesn't even tell you like what to do. You'll just go to the store page and see that there's about 37 different things that you're able to purchase, and you won't know what to buy. And now people can just say, oh, buy the new expansion, that's all you need. Well, normally in other MMO games like this, when you buy the new expansion, you get all of the old expansions too. But however, you don't in Destiny for whatever reason. And even someone who has a lot of experience with live service games, I'm not even sure if you need to buy the old content to get yourself ready for the new content. And the only reason I even tried this game to begin with is because I could buy everything for like $50. So I just decided to do that. But if it's not on sale, to buy everything, it's like $150. So basically, I think those are the two reasons most people have like a weird opinion of this game, even if they don't play it. And don't get me wrong, it's a valid opinion. The developers should definitely handle the monetization of the game way better than they are. But hidden under all of this is a really fun, solid game. And I know this is random for me to bring up now, but let's talk about PvP a little bit. When I used to play this game, PvP was one of the biggest, if not the biggest draw to the game. And I don't know if this is just on my end or something, but I can barely even find a Crucible match, which leads me to think that it's a lack of players, which is just so weird to me and leaves me thinking like, what happened? Can someone fill me in on why PvP PvP is dead now? I mean, I can make some assumptions because when I finally did get into a PvP game, it was the worst experience of my entire life. And this is either because I suck or the only people left playing PvP are the gods that can't let go of it. But to sum things up, I think the new player experience in this game it's pretty good. It does kind of a bad job at explaining what to do. Okay, that was an understatement. It does a terrible job at telling you what to do, and I think they should definitely try to fix that. But overall, I'm having a great time. I like it a lot. I'm gonna be finishing up the final shape on stream, and also I'm gonna try to get a raid team together that can kind of guide me through. I don't know how I'm gonna find that, but we'll see. And I'll also be doing that on stream. But yeah, make sure to join my Discord. It's in the description. Also make sure to like and subscribe and all that stuff. But real quick before I end the video, I just want to put this out there and maybe someone can help me in Discord or in the comment section. Whenever I play Destiny, I get like a 144 frame rate, silky smooth, great experience. But whenever I record it in OBS, it looks extremely choppy, like 10 FPS. I've never had this problem with any other game before, and I think it has to do with Destiny not being able to use game capture. The only way to even fix it a little bit is to set my in-game FPS to 60, and it does work like 80%, 90%, but I want to claw my eyes out when I play this game at 60 FPS. So if anyone out there records or streams Destiny on OBS, let me know if you had this problem and how you fixed it. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.